Hello, this is the Walt 200 with a Megalo Box full review. This is the review of the whole anime from start to finish, and I'm going to do this with the Darling and the Franks. Even though I don't like that, I'm going to watch the rest of that and give it a full review. My initial review has changed from the previous one, so I'd like to go over a lot of the good things at first because this anime has extremely good things going for it. I'd like to highlight those things first before getting on to the complaints I have about it. The animation is just damn fucking good. It's really on par. It looks like the Cowboy Bebop. It's the old, like, grunge looking, like Akira style, like animation. It's really good. No complaints about that, but the main character is really fleshed out. Even some of the side characters are pretty damn well fleshed out. They're not extremely fleshed out, but enough that you get invested in some of these other side characters that's going on. And the story is just amazing, You get this guy. I won't do too many spoilers, but you get this guy who's in this underground, I guess boxing tournaments that throws fights for money and shit. He got this piece of shit freaking manager, doing looks like he's with the mafia or some kind of like underground like association, and they make him lose to pay the bills and shit and get money for this guy because he owes him a shit ton of money and shit. And he tries to go to this pretty much these pros, the Megalo Box tournament, and he works his way up and fights these guys. And overall, they actually don't focus on Joe 100% in his training and stuff like that. They focus on the fighters that Joe takes on as well. Excuse me about them. And they actually go into some detail. It's not extremely fleshed out. They just have flashbacks about how these guys got this into this particular the Megalo Box scene as well, but it's like what particular past they have with the manager, or how they came to the Megalo Box scene and how they got to where they're at today. So I really like that, but one of my complaints is they cut out a lot of fights like this. They cut from the fights. They don't cut out really the fights until later on. They cut the transitions between them, I guess going, having the flashbacks is a little off. I wish they would finish the fight or have it during like the rounds where they're not really doing anything, like sitting and stuff. Sometimes they would cut from the fight and go into these flashbacks and how these guys got here and flesh out the stories like that. And that's one of the things that kind of bothered me about the show. And one of the other things is like Joe makes these ridiculous comebacks after getting his fucking ass beat, just like fucking destroyed sometimes, and he wins. someone put a comment on one of my videos. I can't remember who it was, but they said, "Oh my goodness, it was Rocky the anime," and it was like that. Like the how Rocky makes these just incredible fucking comebacks is from just getting his fucking ass beat. It's just like that. So that is a bit ridiculous. I wish they had better way to do it. It's just like it seemed really unbelievable because he would just come back and just punch him once and they'd be knocked out, even though he was getting his ass beaten 90% of the fucking episode. He would win. That it was a bit ridiculous, and one of the bigger complaints I have about this anime is the ending was just fucking terrible. It's really disappointing, and I don't know why they ended it that way. It was really weird. They cut a lot of the fight out. The biggest fight of the Joe, the anime, and they cut out like 80% of the fight. And I know they I won't spoil who won, but they do tell you who won, but it's just I was really confused by it. I because I thought it was going to be continuing from there, and it didn't look like they actually showed who won, but they actually did. I went back and watched it, and I guess it was just something with me because it didn't look like they showed who won, but they actually did. But the ending is just it was so abrupt. It's just so weird how they didn't like focus on the fight and they went to these flashbacks, and that was a lot of the episode. of the final fight, and I was like, "What the hell is this shit? Why are you guys doing this?" It was so weird and just seemed really pointless, and it was just like such a letdown at the end. And there's talks of season 2, whether or not they're going to do one or not. I personally don't know. I'm kind of on the fence. I kind of wanted to make another season just to have maybe Joe do something with the Megalo Box anime, and they could maybe rewrite the ending a little bit better and go from there. But at the same time, I don't want to make the fucking anime worse with the second season. So who knows if they're going to or not. Hopefully, I'm more on the edge that they don't do it, because I think this is good as you're going to get. And if they make a second season, they probably fuck it up even more than what it already is. So my final rating, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10, because the ending is just so bad. I gave it like a 9 at first, and now as it's completed and the ending was so just damn disappointed, and some of the comebacks were just ridiculous, and some of the transitions to the flashbacks were a little bit jarring, but everything else was fucking great about it. So there is some really good things about it, but unfortunately the ending's going to probably ruin it. I wouldn't say completely, but it's really going to be like, what the fuck is going on? This is really disappointing. A lot of people were, I was, so it's just not my particular opinion. There's a lot of people that were just really upset about the ending, but you got some guys, it was fine. The ending was good and stuff like that, and that's okay. If you think the ending was good, then I have nothing against that, but pretty good. Give it a try. Thank you for listening. Rate, comment, subscribe.